Hello, everyone. This is David Kley of Orange Design and Hexen Media Group. Started doing a lot of different articles and podcasts to help a lot of marketers out. We get a ton of questions every single day from people that are looking to enhance their visibility, increase their marketing efforts, increase their SEO, try to get additional leads from additional sources. So we started doing a lot of different podcasts to essentially answer these questions one by one. We're not doing these long form videos. I don't think it makes sense for people to sit here and listen for half an hour, specifically just because a lot of these questions are very quick to answer. So one of the most common ones that we get asked is, how much does SEO cost? It's a valid question. I think that people that haven't had a lot of experience with marketing companies, or unfortunately have had experience with marketing companies where the end result didn't work out as desired, it is a good question. How much should you really spend on SEO? And there's a couple of different ways to answer that. I've distilled it down to 4 essential things to consider. This is something that either your existing marketing person should be taking a look at, or you as an individual can take a look at, just to see, what is the overall experience your people are having. So the first thing that I put down, and there's a reason why it's number 1, industry. What industry are you in? And essentially be realistic about what you're going after. So for example, if we're trying to market a small local plumber versus a injury attorney that's in multiple cities or essentially multiple states, or for example, a local company versus a national company, it's going to be 2 completely different industries, 2 completely different work scopes, and the resources for doing something that's a small project, such as like your local service provider, versus your multi-city or multi-major city or multi-state or national account, very different in what that entails. For example, normally a local person, you can get by with 2 or 3 people assigned to it, such as a strategist, a developer, and then a coder, a reporter to go ahead and produce those reports, because people are going to want to see, hey, where's my money going? For example, if you're trying to do a national account, that's going to require multiple strategists, multiple content writers, 1 person still doing the reports, likely 1 still developer, but your content side of things to get that SEO score up as high as possible is going to vary greatly due to the amount of content that you have to produce. And also, you want good people working on it. You don't want someone who's just out of high school or just graduated from English class doing your SEO. They need to be trained. They need to understand exactly the industries that you're going after, the primary keywords. When we start a campaign, the first thing we do is look at how people find whatever it is that you provide. Generate that list, share that list with the clients to make sure that it's accurate, make sure we're actually targeting what they want to target, and then make sure it has sufficient search volume to even target to begin with. We've seen differences just with adding an S at the end of something to make it plural versus non-plural. If you're looking for a certain type of contractor versus contractors, lawyer versus lawyers, etc., that can vary greatly in terms of that simplistic little thing you would never think would make a difference, but it can. Part 2 of this is going to be competitiveness. So just because you're a local provider doesn't mean that you don't have competitors and you don't have people that potentially have been invested in SEO and marketing much longer than you have. If you're going on a big city type of target, or if you're going on definitely a national or global, if we were going to go international marketing, you're going to have tons and tons of people that you're having to go against. Potentially they're more established than you. So for example, if we're going up against a smaller local company, let's say a 30 to 50 mile radius of their location, which is fairly average for service-based businesses, you're going to see, let's say, of course, you're going to have like 30 different competitors, but realistically, only 5 of those are going to be like the heavy hitters that are well known across that area for doing that type of work. And while that can be a bit tough based upon how ingrained people are in that local area for that type of service, it's definitely not impossible. Now, for example, if you change that focus to target 100 plus cities or 200 plus cities because your service area is much larger, let's say that you target, all 50 states and all the cities in those states, and, nationally or internationally. And now we've got countries and cities. Again, difference in terms of scope. So when you're wondering how much to spend on your SEO, again, you have to be realistic with what the objective is. And I think it's important for consumers consumers of SEO, rather, meaning our clients, to understand, what the potential payoff is. For example, if we're getting a client that has a significantly difficult industry with significantly high competition rates in their area, that's going to be one small part of the marketing. But also, what is the potential payoff for obtaining a number, 1 through 3 ranking consistently, whether that be organically or whether that be through maps or whether that be through articles for commonly asked questions. The potential payoff on a lot of those is huge. We've seen massive increases from the vast majority of our clients, going from, let's use a local service one, for example, going from $1 million and a half a year in revenue business to upwards of $3.5, $4 million, $5 million a year clients. It's a tremendous increase for them. Now, yes, they are going to have to spend some money, and that money is going to depend on 2 of the things that we already discussed. So now let's move into number 3. Let's talk about your current rankings and visibility. So, if you're already at the bottom of page 1, that's not going to require a significant amount of work to get you from, let's say number 10 to number 5. Now, it does ramp up significantly in terms of difficulty once you go from 5 to 3 to 1, etc. Your current rankings, when we're looking at how much does SEO cost to improve that, if you're on page 10, and you're trying to go to page 1, number 1, that's going to be a different work scope and amount of resources that are required to obtain that. Again, quality resources to get you from that far of a distance away from where you want to be. If your current rankings are very poor, your visibility is very bad, then you're going to take some additional revenue and invest that to get you higher up. And also looking at timeframes. If you're way down the line, page 10 and beyond, and you're trying to get to number 1 within the next 6 to 8 months, you're going to have to invest in resources that it takes to do so. Your current rankings, again, we're talking about like page placements. Generally speaking, as of right now, Google displays a number of ads, a number of Google My Business listings, or GMB, which is essentially the new name for Google Maps. And then you're going to have 10 organic search results that are the blue links that you see sprinkled in there. And then now they're putting ads underneath that as well. So when you're looking at your current rankings, where are you at? There's only 10 places that we can place you at, organically on that first page. Obviously, if you choose to advertise, we can put you in other places, and also in maps. So, looking at your current rankings, looking at your current visibility, understanding what you're trying to do, understanding the time frame that you're trying to do it in, and then also, assigning a dedicated budget that's realistic within your industry to do so. Those 3 things are going to play a big part in how much your SEO costs. The 4th thing is going to be looking at, now this isn't directly related to SEO per se in terms of metrics and data, but this is going to be looking more so at like your overall experience with interacting with your business. So for example, let's say that we do obtain that number 1 ranking, which is common. We have a great team of people that are dedicated and very highly trained, have been doing so for years. When we're taking over an account, whether that be from an existing SEO provider or we're taking it out of the hands of the individual business owner or their internal team, we really have to put a big focus on the current, let's call it landing page experience or current interaction experience, or if we're doing any type of organic content marketing, how are we getting people into the site? And then what does the experience look like when you get there? So for example, you'll see a lot of pages that have tons of words on them, but realistically, is that going to convert somebody? Now, tons of words is great for an SEO perspective because you're going to have more content available for Google's bots to crawl. And then for them to index, they're going to look at you as a better resource. Now, word count isn't enough. There's a lot of other things that will go into play in a different video that breaks down those specific elements. But what is the experience? Because if we have to design an entire SEO plan that's custom for your business, because we don't do plans, they're all one-offs because everybody starts from a different standpoint, what type of experience are people going to go through when they come to your site, when they interact with everything that you have? If we obtain these great rankings and nobody converts because the landing page experience is very poor, ultimately that's not going to be worth your money. So while it's not directly related to influencing, your SEO cost, it does have some credibility in that same line of thinking, because we have to also look at design elements as well. So normally what we'll do is we'll take a look at the keywords that you're currently ranking for, the desired placements, look at competitors, have a better understanding of what the best phrases are that people actually convert from, with the intent to hire versus the intent for research, which is a big thing that we'll go into again in the later video, breaking down your content marketing focus. But also we have to look at the entire experience. If I send somebody to a page that looks like a Word document, has no pictures or poor quality pictures, or it looks like somebody took a bunch of pictures with their cell phone from 10 years ago, that's likely not going to get the result that you want, even if the ranking result that you want is achieved. Another thing, just as a following summary, if you will, consider the yearly price it would cost to do SEO yourself. Agencies have huge overhead when it comes to hiring talented people. When you're looking at SEO strategists, generally speaking, those are between $80,000 to $100,000 a year. A quality coder or developer, any ones that you would want are going to be upwards of $60,000 to $70,000. Having a person that understand with the technology, the platforms, a person that's going to coordinate, understand the metrics, put together those reports, also relay those back to the content team, having good people that are involved in the content team, quality people that have a thorough understanding of web-based SEO versus just writing articles for newspapers or something like that. It's a very different skill set that's required, although some of the skills are shared between the two positions. So if you add up all those right now, the average salaries, you're looking at between $250,000 to $300,000 per year for that team of people. And you want to hire good people to do this work. Otherwise, you're going to waste that money, and then you're going to have to go on your second marketing binge or your third marketing binge, which a lot of people are unfortunately already in that position. It may be one of the reasons why you're already listening to this video, because you're trying to figure out what your budgets need to be. So we always answer questions for free. Feel free to visit us on the web. We're going to put our website links in the description, also phone numbers and ways you can get in contact with us. I'll put some additional links to articles, also to internal and external articles. We have some great resources available on our site. Also, there's some other people who have done some good work across the web. We're not being selfish and saying, hey, only look at us. There's a lot of smart people out there. If you really want to educate yourself on this, we'll include some of those resources. Please let us know if you have any questions, and we do look forward to hearing from you.